See, the kicker about self-sabotage is that when you're in the act of doing it, you're usually not aware of it. And self-sabotage can look different for every person, whether that's overeating after you just decided that you wanted to go on a weight loss journey, cheating on your partner in your relationship, staying in relationships that no longer serve you, irresponsible money spending habits, procrastination, and all other types of distractions. And this is what self-sabotage looked like for me. And during this time that I was self-sabotaging, I was not aware of what was going on within myself subconsciously. I was not aware of the repressed emotions and the negative thoughts that I had about myself. I just wasn't aware that the battle I was fighting was within, or that the battle that I was fighting was with myself. I was very much so distracted by everything else going on around me instead of focusing on me and the things that I wanted. And back then, I didn't even know what that was because I didn't allow myself to be present, because I didn't want to deal with the feelings that felt uncomfortable. And because I wasn't present, I was living in my unconscious, unaware of the decisions that I was making, finding myself in situations that I would have never put myself in if I wasn't doing that. I was going out to the bars and clubs almost every weekend, drinking, dating people I had no business dating, befriending people who were random. And when I say back then, I'm only referring to a couple years ago. So it wasn't that long ago that I was going through this. And I was not doing this my whole life. This is just through this dark period that I went through. So today I'm going to be talking about self-sabotage and why you need to become aware of when you're doing it and how to overcome it. But don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to help support it. And I thank you and appreciate you so much. So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, self-sabotage is when people do or don't do things that block their success or prevent them from accomplishing their goals. So essentially, self-sabotage is a behavior that interferes with our goals and the things that we want out of life. And this can affect anyone. But we really need to understand why we self-sabotage. Like, why do we ruin things for ourselves? Why do we mess up a good thing? And the answer to that lies within our shadow. And one of my favorite quotes, that is by Carl Jung, states that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our life, and we'll call it fate. So until we understand what lies in our subconscious, which is our past experiences and our traumas and memories in our shadow, we'll be unaware of our subconscious behaviors that is directing our lives. So understanding and being aware of your shadow is a crucial part to your elevation. So let's talk about the shadow. What is the shadow anyway? Well, the shadow is where we store the parts of ourselves that we're not fond of, the parts of us that we don't like and don't accept, things that were not approved of by our parents or other people around us when we were growing up. Also things that society may have shamed us for, which made us suppress and repress these things about ourselves by burying them deep within our subconscious, as if they're not a part of us, even though they are. And it's looked at as the negative parts of us, where our negative impulses come from, or some people look at it as our dark side, which is somewhat true. However, the shadow is more so a dark place where we store these aspects about ourselves that we reject because we believe or learned that these things were bad and we did not want to be associated with them. So in this dark place where we've suppressed these aspects that we deny about ourselves, many personalities begin to form, because we have to remember they're still a part of us. And what happens is they become independent and they start to act on their own accord, and then ends up conflicting with our conscious personality. And these aspects of our shadows will stay hidden if we continue to deny them, because the light of our consciousness simply does not reach the shadow. And we actually tend to prefer to keep these aspects hidden because we either feel like we can't face them, or we're not ready to face them and accept them. And I just want y'all to know that anything that you're suppressing does not make it go away. It only allows for the things that you're suppressing to come up in unexpected ways. I mean, just think about it. When there's an unexpected amount of pressure in a pipe that's not contained, what happens? The pipe bursts. And similarly, this is what happens when you suppress parts of yourself. they will surface without you even realizing it. There's so many aspects that people tend to hide in their shadow, like fear, rejection, unworthiness, jealousy, manipulation, greed, envy, laziness, all kinds of things. Fear and feeling unworthy are big drivers to self-sabotaging behavior, because if a person feels unworthy or undeserving due to a traumatic event that happened to them as a kid that made them feel unworthy and it stuck with them, it can cause them to subconsciously sabotage things that they feel that they're not worthy of. So for example, if a person dates someone who they feel is too good for them, that might trigger that shadow aspect of feeling unworthy. So they might start sabotaging the relationship by cheating or mistreating this person or accusing this person of things and being insecure without evidence or reason to be that way. And when it comes to fear, we as people are going to have to get over it, or at least sit with it and accept it for what it is and not let it stop us from doing things we want to do. Because fear causes a lot of self-sabotage. The fear of losing things, the fear of losing people, the fear of failure, even the fear of success. There are literally people who would rather not try than to have tried and failed just because of that fear of failure. And people who fear success, so they don't even attempt it because they feel like if they become successful, they don't even know what they would do with it. They don't even visualize themselves as being successful because they probably have some type of subconscious programming from when they were young, thinking that they would never be able to be successful. So they don't even try. How is it possible that we as people can want something so badly for ourselves and then still end up sabotaging it? Because that part of us that's hidden in the shadow doesn't feel like we deserve it, and we haven't yet brought it to the forefront to deal with it. Jealousy is another example I want to use because it is another aspect that can be hidden in a person's shadow, because society looks at jealousy as a negative trait. And nobody wants to admit they're jealous, because why would I be jealous? How could I be? I have no reason to be jealous of anyone. When in reality, each and every one of our ego wants to be the best, wants to be great at something, wants to feel good enough, and wants to feel worthy. So when we feel any lack in those areas and we see a person who has what we want, consciously or subconsciously, we can become jealous. And the conscious part of you may want to congratulate. But if you have jealousy hidden in your shadow, that may come up and overpower and make you feel envious and feel like this person doesn't deserve that. And that is only continuing to block your inspiration. That is only sabotaging what you really want when you could be using this opportunity to get inspired. This is why perspective is everything. Because instead of looking at it as he or she doesn't deserve that, why does she get to have that? Why does he get to have that? Being envious of it, you can be inspired. You being jealous of something and being aware of it and accepting it can help you realize that when you see somebody have something that you don't have, it'll let you know that that's what you want. You can get inspired. Like, oh, if she did it, I can do it. Or if I'm seeing this, this may be a sign for me to do it. Because jealousy is simply blocked inspiration. And if you continue to suppress and hide the fact that you are human and you become jealous at times, you will continue to block your inspiration, and that hate will stay inside of you. And see, Carl Jung believed that we need to discover what's hiding in our shadow so we can integrate it into our personality. Because if we don't, we'll continue to self-sabotage due to those negative aspects and beliefs that are hidden there. And as with anything that we're dealing with in the world, if we become aware of it, bring it to the forefront, and learn to accept it, we can then alchemize it and use it for the good of all. So self-awareness is key to preventing self-sabotaging behaviors. Being honest with yourself, accepting all aspects of yourself, every little thing, and not judging yourself. Sitting with fear and knowing that fear is just the anticipation of something bad happening without even knowing the outcome. And I've been learning to take action with fear, because I know that Greatness lies on the other side of fear. Even with this whole YouTube thing, like I started this channel 2 years ago and I let fear get in the way. So I just stopped making videos, even though I loved doing it. And I had to get reminded of fear is not real. Fear is just false evidence appearing real. Fear is not something that should stop us, even though it feels uncomfortable. If anything, we should take action with fear. So 5 important things that I want you to use to help you become aware of your shadow and to help you to stop self-sabotaging. First, pay attention to your triggers. Be aware of what you're avoiding, because what you're avoiding, you fear, and what you fear controls you. And ask yourself what you feel unworthy of and why you feel unworthy. When was the first time you felt unworthy? When did that begin? And lastly, what would you be doing if you did not feel unworthy? That's all I'm going to say for now. I hope this video finds you well. Thank you for supporting my channel in this journey that I'm on. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not. Please leave me a comment because I would love to hear from you, and I will see you next time. Peace and love.